Is this the theater where Scream is playing? Oh, what's up, Alamo Drafthouse? Let's waste no more time. Let's go ahead and bring out the men that you have been waiting for, not only all of tonight, but all weekend, considering this screening was supposed to happen on Thursday. And it was supposed to kick off Texas Frightmare weekend, and it is now wrapping up Texas Frightmare weekend. So, Mr. David Arquette, Skeet Ulrich, Matthew Lillard.
Hello, everybody. We killed Matt, so.
Yeah. I want to start off with a thanks, and I said this in the other theater, but two things. First, to you. As I said, we've been doing these Texas Frightmare weekend screenings on Thursdays to kick off the show for so many years I've forgotten how many, and not once have we ever had any kind of scheduling issues or travel issues. And this year, for whatever, call it global warming, call it what you will, we had like an act of God storm that delayed these guys' travel. So thank all of you. I know some of you you thought you'd be home in bed by now. You're tired from Texas Frightmare weekend. Some of you changed your travel plans so you could stay over and be here. So thank you. Round of applause to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
And keep your applause. Oh, thank you. Did you start working here recently?
Yes.
And keep your applause going for these guys. Somebody else may have said, well, it just was travel issues and we got to cancel the screening. These guys changed their plans so that they could make good on the tickets that you bought for this screening and be here with us on Sunday. They've been, thank you, at a convention all weekend nonstop, meeting thousands of people, and they're still here, and that means a lot to us. So thank y'all for being here with us. So the irony that we realized in the car over, not until the car ride over here, is that the irony of pairing you three for a screening is you don't share one scene together in Scream, and none of you realized it until tonight.
Very true. It still baffles me how that happened.
I said
Yet.
This mic works.
Yeah, it's just funny. We're gonna, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take it out to y'all. You've waited long enough. Let's just make it kind of a big group conversation. Matt's probably gonna go rogue and be a human mic stand at some point. I've asked these guys, I've been lucky enough to ask these guys a lot of questions over the years, so I wanna give you your chance to. There's one right here in the front row. I'm coming over to you. Awesome shirt. This poster doesn't get enough acknowledgement. What's the story behind this poster? Because it's like an alternate poster. There's a red background.
Yeah.
Stand up and show everyone. Yeah. Sorry. This poster is like a weird bee poster they never used.
A European one or something.
Yeah.
I was big in France at the time.
Here you go.
Am I on the poster?
How are y'all?
Good.
How are you?
Okay, I have a question. So, have any of your kids seen any of the Scream franchise movies? What do they think of it if they saw it? And if not, what do they think of like your other work?
My kids don't watch any of my work. They haven't seen Scream. They saw the first episode of Parish recently, but I don't know.
Skeet's on a brand new show. Could we give it a shout out?
Can we all watch it? That'd be fucking great.
Right now. You're very sweet. That's honestly, that's my story. I don't mind it. They're not, it's not anything personal. In fact, I don't know. They just are into other things, I guess, other than dad. But
my two young kids are boys, and they're 7 and 10. And the 10 is just like really wanting to, but still having a hard time sleeping in his room alone. It's not like, I feel like you can't really see scary stuff yet, but he really wants to.
Uncle Skeet's gonna come put you to bed.
That just got so weird.
That would be great. Like, they're giving us a hard time. Like, oh, I got some friends. Okay, I'm sorry.
He shows up in the Ghostface costume.
So, but Coco, I tried to watch Scream with her once, and she was like, "Dad, this is weird," and because that's when her parents met. So, and then, but then she saw the Scream 5 at a theater, like during the whole thing, and she had her boyfriend with her, and she saw like the reaction from the fans, and she's like, oh wow, I get it now. But yeah, that was a really like proud dad moment. I was like, oh, I'm not,
Which,
annoying right now.
not to spoil anything that happens in Scream 5, but I can imagine being your kid, that's a hard one to watch. The most incredible thing, I have a daughter who's 10, and even her fashion sense is so 90s. And the thing that sticks out to me with Scream and The Craft is these movies are still finding audiences even in current generations, and the fashion in both of those movies feels so influential, which is I think something a lot of people don't talk about with Scream, is that the fashion is pretty fire in this movie, if I have to say so myself.
That white T-shirt, no.
Yeah.
Just changed the world.
Am I making it up, or was the lady that did it Deborah? No, was that?
Oh,
I don't know.
That's
The costume designer?
Yeah, was she also the Friends fashion designer?
I think you're right.
Yeah. So,
Which is another show that his
Right.
not that it ever wasn't relevant, but pop culture wise with a new generation. Yeah. Oh, he's gone rogue.
We lost Matt.
Hi, I am in the audience. Please do not grab my butt.
Read that as do.
Same joke every time.
It does kind of seem like, since you brought that up, you want people to grab
Don't
your butt.
talk about it.
that wasn't
For the record, my kids on Mother's Day went to go watch Serial Mom, which is the first movie I was ever in 31 years ago. 30 years ago.
What did Heather think about that? It was Mother's Day, not Father's Day.
Well, we went to go drink.
She rather enjoyed it.
Hi. Stand up. Okay, what's your name? Can't hear you.
My name is Brooklyn.
Hi, Brooklyn. What's up? What's your name?
Wait, how old are you, Brooklyn? Brooklyn, how old are you?
9.
Whoa. Who let her in here? All right, that's actually parenting done right. My mom took me to see these movies when I was...
Brooklyn, what's your question?
Did anyone in the Scream cast get the role they originally auditioned for?
Good question. This is the second time we've had that question.
Yeah.
I think, Skeet, what's your answer to that?
I did, yeah.
Skeet did. You know why Skeet did? Because Skeet is a piece of ass.
He said to the 9-year-old.
Sweetie, when you grow up, you'll understand that Skeet is still a piece of ass.
Wow. Mom next to Brooklyn.
Mom could not be more excited.
We see why Mom's here now. It wasn't to bring Brooklyn. It was because Mom couldn't find a babysitter. So Mom was like, I'm bringing Brooklyn
Mom's
anyway.
having a moment. I auditioned for the part of, I also auditioned for the part of Billy I did not get that job, and in the moment, they're like, hey, Wes Craven, who directed the movie, is going to be here in the next 4 hours. Do you want to audition for The Silly Best Friend? Yes. And I was like, yes, because that's our job. Our job is to hustle to get jobs. And I auditioned 4 hours later, and Wes Craven gave me the job in the room. Which was that never happened. David, did you audition for Dewey?
I was coming in for a meeting just to like talk, because they didn't know what like role I would have been right for. So they were talking to me about one of the high schooler roles, and when I came in, I said, I'm really interested in the role of Dewey. And Wes was like, wow, that's really interesting. I hadn't even considered something like that. Because it was written more like a big jock, like ex-football,
Future pro wrestler kind of role, something like that. But totally wrong for you, Davey.
totally wrong.
I have to say, in the history of this franchise, which now spans how many decades? Two? 2 decades?
Yeah, 96.
Nev Campbell's a single piece of casting that is incredible. I would argue David Arquette's the second best piece of casting in the entire. I don't think that movie is as successful without your humanity at the core of it. That's my opinion.
Guys, these two, I mean, come on. They're like, that scene, I mean, the end scene alone and the fountain scene, I mean, all of it. It was just, there was something really magical when we were all just getting to know each other, and they had brought all these different personalities all together, and we were all in Santa Rosa, and we were just like, we didn't know it was going to be some huge movie. We knew it was one of the bigger movies I'd ever been in, but we didn't know it was gonna like take off and live on like it had.
You got to see like love blossom on screen.
Davey, Courtney, me and Matt.
All right, next question.
Wait. So I gotta point out my observation that
That's good, yes, please do.
Your shirt inspired. If you can't see his shirt, it's Darth Vader. So to me, David's character Dewey is like both the simultaneous C-3PO and R2-D2 throughout the Scream franchise. He's in everyone, and he carries us through. Skeet's Billy came back as a Force ghost in Scream. When are we gonna see Matthew Lillard Stu come back as a burned Anakin Skywalker? He currently has the high ground right now.
I said in the last Q&A, and I'll continue to say this. My job is to serve the franchise, not serve me, or Stu's story, or it's not about me. It's about what the fans want, what Kevin Williamson, thank God, who's back at the by the way, and I want to say, I think the last 2 movies were fantastic. I love the cast, I love the directors. I thought they did a great job sort of honoring Wes and furthering the franchise. But yeah, my job is to do what's best for the franchise, period, at the end. If it makes sense, then great. If not, no big deal. I'm happy. I'm very happy in my life. All right, who has the next question?
Half the hands went down who were gonna ask when Stu coming back.
I'm coming down here. Stand by, sorry. Stand by, sorry. Hi, what's
Sit
your
by.
name?
This is how he stays fit.
My name is Brian.
So my question is regarding Wes. So I just wanted to know what y'all's favorite memory of either being on set or just of what working with Wes was like for y'all.
Great question. I'll let, who wants to go first? I'll happily go first. Should I go first?
Sure.
I always go last. So I have it's a little long of a story. I've told the story before, but I like this story.
I'm gonna use the bathroom. Be right back.
You tell my story.
All right, I'll tell your story.
Yeah, tell my story.
To preface Matt's story, and I think this is how he would probably do it. our lives are precarious. You know, if any of you are artists, which I'm sure many of you are, you know, it's a rough ride a lot of times. You don't know, you know, where you stand in the world. You don't know when you're going to get paid next. You don't know when you're going to work. You know, you're doing all this stuff, and it's, you know, you just never know. And Matt, being in, you know, sort of the heart of that as an actor, one day, you know, we didn't have cell phones in that time. You know, very few people had them on a regular basis. We had one set phone, and Matt needed to use the phone to call his mom. And so he went to...
It was her birthday.
It was her birthday. Was getting there. No, I forgot that part. And so he goes to, you know, get the phone, and Wes is there, and he's like, "Who are you calling?" He said, "I'm calling my mom." He goes, "No, dude, you go. I'm ruining it. You go."
So I love that you actually took, because I know you can still do it.
I can still do it, but I don't want to mix up the good parts.
So they walked up, Wes and Marianne, who produced the movie, were there. And they were like, and Wes said to me, "We were just talking about you." And I was like, "Oh yeah, what were we saying?" And he was like, "We were just talking about the fact that someday you're going to win an Academy Award." And I said, "Oh yeah? Why don't you tell my mom that?" And so he got on the phone and said, "Hi, Mrs. Lillard, this is Wes Craven. I just want to tell you that your son one day will win an Academy Award." So in my life, as we ebb and flow, as times get rough, and they get fucking rough in this business, you have to hold on to moments that give you inspiration to get to the next moment. And so for me, I've held on to this moment in my life where Wes Craven said to me, "I'm going to win an Academy Award." And so there's no room to quit, because I have other shit to do on the other side of the down. Because there's always an ebb and flow, and you just have to acknowledge the fact that it's a long distance run. It's not a sprint. And so now, 31 years into this career, these moments, I'm in a great span of my life. These cons are very helpful. I have 5 Nights at Freddy's, I'm doing a TV show. These moments are great, and this too will end. So we hold on to these moments that give us strength. And so for me, Wes Craven was strength.
Much better than my television. Matt Lillard, ladies and gentlemen. Davey, what do you got?
Well, during Scream 2, I've told this story too, but during Scream 2, this my keeps it's a. Oh, I'm sorry. Just oh, weird. During Scream 2, my mom was dying.
No, it's not the way you're weirdly holding it here.
It's okay. Two mics. During Skeet 2, I was going through a hard time. My mom was dying, and I was just having a really hard time. Me and Courtney were on and off, and she was so mad at me. And I was in a band. I was going crazy.
What was the name of the band?
Year 2000. In the
year
1999. No, a small window. But Wes was so supportive. He put 2 of our songs on the albums, and on Scream 2 and Scream 3, and we have 2 platinum records.
Wait. You're in the year 2000?
Yeah!
I fucking love those songs on the
No,
Scream 2 and
stop
Scream 3 soundtrack.
Stop it.
I can name every track on those. Also, I just want to point
So
out,
embarrassing.
I want to point out the way that you said, "Courtney was so mad at me," sounded a little familiar.
I know. But Wes sat me down and he gave me such a fatherly advice. He was like, "David, we all love you so much. We care about you. We want the best for you, but you need to get your life together. Courtney really cares about you. Great actor, but you can't, let losing your mom and all the pain you're going through dictate the path of your life." And it was just such a father-son moment, and just such a something that, not a lot of directors would do that, or people even. And it just was so grounding, and it was just, he said it in such a way that I heard it, and I was like, oh, thank you so much, Wes, that means so much to me. And, he gave me a second shot at that, maybe my dim-witted inexperience is merely a subtle form of manipulation used to, I had to memorize that thing. I blew it the first time. It was a complete disaster. So yeah. And he also cast my dad in Scream 2. Like, he just did certain things that were so thoughtful that not a lot of directors that I've met had done.
From just my kind of
My brother.
time getting to host these things with you, it seems that you and Wes had a special bond, and knowing that, to kind of reflect back on the original Scream, knowing that Dewey was originally supposed to die, I think you chalk it up to test screenings and things like that, but I think it's because you and you had a special connection and thing, and he saw something in your character, but also you as a person that he knew the audience would connect with throughout not just a first film, but needed you in further films. And, I think that's the special thing we always connect with Dewey and you as a person. So,
Wait,
yeah.
two things real quick. You have to go back to that story because I don't think everyone knows that story. But before we do that, can you tell a story that you want to talk about, Skeet, or about Wes?
I never really talked to the guy. No, I mean, I don't have anything you guys had a much longer relationship than he and I. I did work with him one other time on Cursed, which was ill-fated, but we bonded in such a cool way that was so different than when we had worked together on Scream. He had open heart surgery since we had worked together, and I've had open heart surgery, so we sat around and talked about that for a long time, and he had gotten into woodworking, which I've always been into woodworking and building furniture, so we bonded a lot more the second time, but he was just an incredibly sweet, caring, deep, sensitive human being, and I don't have any stories as heartwarming necessarily as you guys, but he has a sweet spot in my heart for sure.
Absolutely. Cursed is really underrated, by the way.
Yeah,
Christina Ricci, Wes Craven werewolf movie. I mean, yeah.
That was an interesting one. It was an interesting experience for sure. That ultimately I bailed on.
Well, it's got its fandom out there for sure.
I read his autobiography.
Yeah.
That was really like eye-opening about like his life and his start and all that.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
James, you want to tell the story about Dewey?
You want me to tell it, or do you want David
Well,
to tell
David,
it?
do you want to? Who else?
Yeah.
Somebody has to tell the story.
I think David should be the one to tell the story about Dewey's kind of original fate and how he came to live on.
I think I was supposed to schedule to come out just on the gurney and just as a dead body or whatever. And then when I showed up, and Wes was like, David, we're gonna try it a couple ways. We're gonna roll you out. First time, you'll just be dead. And then the second time, we're gonna roll you out. You're gonna give a thumbs up, and then we'll see how it goes. Maybe you'll live, maybe you'll die, or something like that.
The single the single biggest thumbs up in the history of cinema.
Well, and the other great thing is there's that BO that you can tell that they like kind of recorded because they needed the extra like just solidification to the audience that you're alive. And there's just like this BO that comes out of nowhere where it's like, we got a live one or something like that. But like when you watch the movie tonight and you see Dewey's body just kind of slumped over in the house, he was that performance. He's just playing a dead body. He is dead in that performance. So
Sydney's dad was like really like tied up and gagged for days, weeks. What? He was. I got him on Super 8. I was like going through the place and I'm shooting everybody and I get like little pops of everybody and then
That poor
see
guy.
the dad all sitting there just like all wrapped up, and I was like, "Aw."
For like
I think
weeks.
I even turned the camera on myself, and I'm like, yeah, it was crazy. They were up in that house so long doing that scene, and I'm just stuck up there going crazy in Santa Rosa. I bought a little scooter I was driving around, this little
I think you had
hot
like
rod.
10 hobbies you
Yeah,
did.
I had this. I filled my room with like black light posters and lava lamps. And
Here's the
a
way.
wooden ship, like a little like.
I
mini
remember
wooden
giving you
ship.
carving tools as a rap present. You were like into.
Here's the thing you have to understand.
But then one thing I did was I started like flirting with Courtney at the time, so I wanted to see her. They were all filming up there, and I didn't want everyone to know, so I would go there and I would hop the fence and I'd run like to her trailer. I would hide in her trailer. And then one time I put on Gail
Sure
Weathers.
you want to keep talking? Are you sure you want to keep talking?
No, it's funny. I put on Gail Weathers' outfit and I put on a trench coat and I ran around on the set and I went, "Wah!" You couldn't do that nowadays, but
All right, David Arquette, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the funny thing. I just want to put it in perspective. What you have in Santa Rosa, California, is a bunch of people that didn't go to college. Skeet did. None of us did. But we worked 6 p.m. till sunup for like 2 months, a month and a half. So what would happen is that if you were working or you weren't working, you were called or not called, you'd have to stay awake because the next day you would be going to work at 6 p.m. But what happens when you get off work, especially when you're like idiot kids, what do you want to do? You want to go drink. So what happened, bars aren't open traditionally at 6 a.m. So we would all go back to David Arquette's room, and David Arquette had like his, David Arquette would take like, you'd get paid in per diem in cash, and then David would go down to thrift stores and just buy everything he saw. And then we would go hang out in Arquette's room and like hang out until 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and then go to work at 6 o'clock. So
Did
it
we
is-
not get noise complaints? Like,
Well, we
do you
own like
remember
the
that?
entire
I know,
block of that
yeah,
hotel.
I guess we did.
All right, next question. That was a lot of us talking. So, hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Rena.
What's your question?
Big fans of you guys, by the way. What do you envision for the eventual conclusion of the Scream franchise?
It will never end. Next question. That's a good question. We've never heard that. They're organizing it right now. Yeah, I think that it will get. Look, Hollywood does not let go of things that make money, and this movie is having a resurgence. Whatever's happening right now around this franchise is being passed to generations. And we're blessed. I mean, the crazy thing is that if we were all doing a movie from a director that hadn't had a hit in a while, starring 2 actresses that were on TV, and back then TV did not cross over to films, and it was written off until it came out and it changed the world.
In fact, there was a couple of weeks in, they started with Drew's stuff. Word came from Miramax to pull the plug, that they didn't like what they were getting in dailies and they wanted to stop filming the movie. And so Wes and Marianne scrambled to sort of put together this cut to send to them, and fortunately they did, and they were like, "Oh, okay, we get it now, let's keep going." But they were ready to kill the movie, and after that first sequence of dailies. Yeah, when they get dailies, it's just this camera's footage, this camera's footage, this camera's footage. None of it's put together, nothing. But they just didn't see the movie. So fortunately, yeah, they fought for it.
I pitched the new writers a sick idea.
Let's hear it.
Very much at a place like Frightmare. And you see me at the beginning of the film, and someone comes up to me like, "Dewey, I loved you in Stab," and I was like, "I'm not Dewey. That's David Schwimmer." So like then you have this whole stab cast. You have us, but we're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
and
a
then
great
Dewey, yeah.
The fact
I'm
that
David
they're-
Arquette,
yeah.
and then Matt Dewey. So it just mashes up this whole meta thing.
It's very Wes Craven New Nightmare.
Yes, exactly.
The fact there has, we've seen so much of Stab, but the fact there hasn't been a horror convention in a Scream movie,
Yes.
that's a great idea. Yeah.
Why don't we have like a Scream convention?
An all-Scream convention? That's a good idea.
It's like literally only the three of us. Hi, who has a question on this? Hi, what's your name?
I'm Wyatt.
What's your question?
When you were auditioning, did Wes ask you guys at the time what was your favorite scary movie?
Yes. Sorry. No, Wes wanted people that would execute his dream.
But when I directed The Tripper, he was so sweet and like read through the script and gave me notes and then gave me this list of all these films like Phantasm and the Donald Sutherland one in like
The Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
no, it was like in like really obscure ones in like Venice or something. It was this really what was it? Don't Look Down. Yes, he gave me a list of all these dope like things I'd never seen. It was so eye-opening.
I cut him off very fast. Wyatt, if maybe the question is, what's your favorite scary movie?
Besides the obvious.
Besides Scream, what's your favorite scary movie? Scream. Skeet.
Steve.
Is he here too?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Teacher Steven Scary.
I've had a
Scream Spielberg.
very long weekend.
Yeah, Steve, what's your favorite
Yeah.
scary
I
movie?
would say
He
Steve.
did not say Steve. I would have left.
What's your favorite scary movie?
The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Terrifying.
David.
I'm gonna go with a different one because I always say The Shining just because of the performances in it. But I'm gonna Hereditary was really
Yeah.
that really freaked me out.
James, go ahead.
Showgirls.
There you go.
Actually, one of
James
my
and Jamie Kennedy
one of my
special.
favorite scary movies is The Craft. I love The Craft. One of my other favorite scary movies is 13 Ghosts.
Such a lot.
And I'm not blowing smoke. I really love those two movies.
Thank you.
Oh, who has a question? Thank you so much. Hi. First of all, show everyone your mustache. Stand up. Your mustache is so delicious.
It's really the stash shirt combo. That's Magnum PI. Yeah, brother.
It's Dewey if you live. Just kept growing.
It's Vacation Dewey.
Vacation Dewey.
So my question started after watching You Cannot Kill David Arquette and just seeing some of your love of things from your childhood continuing to this day, the circus, carnivals, clowns, magicians, all of that, and seeing some of the stuff that Dewey's characterized as, the other cop is smoking, he's having a little ice cream and stuff like that. I was wondering if any of y'all infuse certain of your own sort of personality traits into your character, whether Kevin wrote that, Wes suggested it, or you brought it yourself, if you put any of yourself into these characters.
Definitely put ourselves in that
I sit around licking my fingers all the time. So that was all me.
I thought you were gonna steal his popcorn. I love the story that you told on stage about the bar you would kind of set up in your hotel room, which seemed like you made it very you.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we had like some party room that was just so funny and crazy. And, yeah, everyone came.
But
and
you
hung
had
out.
like puppets hanging.
Yeah, but I mean, I always have weird stuff. But puppets, blacklight posters, lava lamps, and it was fun. But that one scene about the ice cream, I haven't seen the film in years. But I keep thinking about Wes when he told me about that. It's like in this scene you have a ice cream, so every time he smokes, you lick the ice cream, and what's it I used to step on it. I was like, do you really want me to do that? It seems like it's kind of, I don't know, like tonally, is it too over the top? It's like, I don't know, let's try it. And it was just so fun. I think Wes always like there was something about Dewey where he like, sense his humor came out, like the constellation line too. He like threw that in. He was like, yeah, ask her about, you know what constellation that is? Like, no, what is it? I'm like, I don't know, that's why I asked you. It's such a sweet, there was little moments where we definitely would laugh and be silly and try different things.
I mean, Matthew, am I correct in that you hit me with the phone, Dick, and my mom and dad are going to be so mad at me where your improv lines?
Yeah. Look, I think the acting is always, you are never going far from yourself, right? You're always being yourself. But those moments, I do think that you have to give a lot of credit to Kevin and to Wes in the end, because we did the last sequence, and that whole sequence, there are improv lines all over the place. And they allowed us to get one as written and then to play. And in that playing, there's this freedom that you allow people in the creative process to bring what they do to the process, right? So many times directors are like, this is what I want, I'm seeking my vision, and not allowing other people into the vision. Does that make sense? You're like, this is what I want, you discount everyone else's creative experience. The reality is that that movie is a collection of people going, I have zero ego about the result, I want the best result. So bring your best examples. And that is, in my opinion, I think that that's the definition of creativity. And I think that that's one of the reasons the movie works on so many levels. Because you are, in the first sequence of the film, you're murdering Drew Barrymore, who at the time was one of the biggest stars in the world, and you're eviscerating her, and you have no idea that sets the table for the entire movie, because you have no idea where it's going. We kill the fucking fawns, right? So you're like, what's going to happen next? And allows this moment, and there's this brilliance at the end, which I think is you're running for your life, everyone's terrified, and you're laughing at the same time, which is the magic of that movie.
Yeah.
Which
Absolutely.
they curated, right?
Yeah.
But great question. Thank you for that question. It's a lovely
All right.
question.
We got a few more minutes.
All right,
Time
a few
for
more. I'm coming
a couple
back
more.
down, though. It's so many steps. I'm so old.
I mean, I'm so much closer, but I just
No, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Does everyone understand that Skeet Ulrich is 50-something? Isn't that ridiculous? He's such a dick. Hi, don't you hate Skeet?
Yeah. Thank you.
What's your question? Hi, I'm Matt.
I'm Sam. Hey, so when you auditioned for the roles, did you immediately think this movie was going to be a success? Or did you... Or did you think it was like, I don't know how it's going to go, I'm going to here for the drinks?
It never really crosses my mind ever, to be honest. I think there are certain people you can work with where you could, surmise this has a better chance than another thing. But I think, and I won't speak for all of us, but I think for me, like, it's all about the material. And, if you fall in love with it, it kind of doesn't matter who's necessarily involved or not. You've fallen in love with it, and it becomes something that occupies every thought of my day almost. And I just want to purge those thoughts almost. So for me, it wasn't a question of, is this movie going to work? Is it going to be successful? I just was like, oh my God, this is incredible. And I can't stop thinking about this guy, and how does a kid get to this point, and like, what is going on? And so all these things became, what I wanted to experience. You can't predict anything. I mean, I did a movie for Ang Lee that, after he won for Sense and Sensibility, and nobody's ever seen it. They were scared of the movie. They wouldn't release the movie. And it's an incredible cast, and he made Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon next. And so you just never know. And in fact, we lost money as actors making it. Me, Tobey Maguire, Jeffrey Wright, Jim Caviezel, on and on.
What movie was it?
It's called Ride with the Devil. It's a Civil War movie. And, you know, they gave us each $50,000, which is
not a lot.
25,
Yeah, which is
maybe.
not a lot of movies.
And we shot for 7 months on location. So you just never know. And so I gave up sort of trying to predict things like that and just, you know, fall in love with the story. And if you do and you're blessed to get to work on it, that's enough. You know, the process, the friendships, the day-to-day, those are more impactful than monetary success or career success.
Amen.
Yeah.
Good.
I have seen it. We opened the Toronto Film Festival with it, and then Jeffrey Wright plays. Jeffrey Wright's a black actor, obviously. He plays a Confederate soldier, and they were very scared of that fact. The movie is about how friendships transcend politics.
Wow, it sounds
but
like it should come out now.
I know it should. Yeah, it's an incredible movie. But point is, you just never know. So why make that your focus?
Yeah, no amount of success satisfies you. I'm gonna say it again, no amount of success satisfies you. You can make a lot of money and you'll still want more. So the reality is that money isn't ever the answer. The only answer is the journey, period, the end, right? Because you're always wanting more, so you have to seek the things that bring you joy. What brings you joy? It's the fellowship celebrated during this movie. Like, that's the best part. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I have had multiple tequilas. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think that's why we're all here. On the surface, we love horror movies, but it's not just the horror movies. It's the fact that the horror movies bring us together and we get to connect with people that we feel seen and heard by in a way that people in the outside world don't. And that's why we come to these conventions and come to these screenings, because there's a shorthand where you just feel accepted immediately. And so it's immediately.
These weekends are a testament to that, right? These weekends
Absolutely.
are especially horror weekends, because in general, we feel like outsiders. And so when you feel like an outsider and you're surrounded by people like you, you no longer are an outsider, you're one of the fucking many. And that feels great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And so there's a celebration of like, oh, I'm not a weirdo. I'm like all these other people.
Yeah.
Right? It's really
100%.
I still feel like such a weirdo.
But you get to feel
But you're a
accepted
great
by
weirdo.
fellow weirdos.
Yes.
Yeah. You're celebrated for it.
Hi, what's
Yeah.
your name?
We are the weirdos,
Jan.
mister. Yeah. Hey.
I know that movie. Sorry, Jan.
Sorry, we're just quoting the craft up here.
Thank you guys for being here. For real, I really appreciate it. I know all of us do. I really, I think y'all have answered this in a lot of ways already, but I just wanted to ask personally for each of you, as an aspiring actor myself, your number one piece of advice going forward.
Good question.
For me, I encourage people not to look at it as a business and look at it as the art it is, and to seek the best artist in yourself, which is a continually growing thing, hopefully. If you do that, I think you have a shot at the business. But if you go after the business first, you may last a little while, if. So I encourage you to, find people that can help you be the best artist you can be. And it's inclusive of many things, acting, your voice, speech, body, psychology, all the different things you study to inhabit other people. And to get to know yourself more and more through that process, so you can bring more and more of yourself to it. And the more you do that, the more, you connect to people. I think a lot of what these movies do, Scream included, that is, we put, much like your question was speaking to, we put ourselves into it, our hearts into it. We put our troubles into it, and those things speak to you guys, because underneath the text as written is all this subtext that is our personal lives, that is our turmoil, that is our heartbreak, that's our hopes, that's our love. Those are the things we're grasping onto to spread to, out through the roles. And so, I encourage you to find those things and to speak yourself through these words. And fuck the business. Make your own films, and don't wait for them to tell you you're an actor. You're an actor. You decided. And the great success in that is you found what you love to do. That is a success that so many people don't get to have. And that's a success in itself that's worth anything more than Hollywood could ever hand you. So that's, yeah.
Okay, we have time for one more. Who's got a question that feels like it really takes us into Scream here? Somebody's waving.
Can I just add to that? Like,
Yeah.
seek-
Of
just
course.
seek-
Yeah.
Just seek joy. Just seek joy. Don't worry about results. Seek your joy. Rest will follow. All right, hi. It's your last question. It's the last question.
Is this a question that's going to take us into Scream? She's written it down.
She's confident.
Wait, hold on. Is that your order? Because he doesn't work here.
I'm one
thought he
movie
did.
away.
No,
I'm
you
one
got me
movie
by
away
choice.
from working here.
Yeah. The strike was tough.
It's very specific. So, I'm gonna do her question because it's great. You want to do the question? But we'll have one more question after this.
Okay.
They don't play D&D. What class were you in D? What class would you be in Dungeons and Dragons? There are two
Me,
handsome-
medium class.
Medium. All right, one last question. Is it a good question? All right, I believe you.
The person.
You have
this-
long hair and tattoos.
This
I
guy
trust
all the
you.
way in the back is so committed that
All
he's
the way in the
turning
back. You're
his
gonna send him.
flashlight on.
He's only 4 days younger than me.
All right,
You're
hold on.
gonna
I'm
send him
going.
all the
I'm
way
going.
back.
All right, we're gonna do a speed round. I'm asking my man, and then you ask your man.
I'm gonna go to the top.
My man's gonna kick your man's ass. All right, what's your question?
Better be fucking good. Bro, it's you and me against those fucking people.
All right, you ready? What's your question?
All right, so in the early 90s, horror was kind of in a bad way and it was dying. And along comes Kevin Williamson, along comes Wes Craven, and along comes you guys. And you save the you save the genre. You really do. You bring it back. And I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional because this movie means a lot to me. What do you think it is about this film that almost 30 years later now still resonates and still, makes the impact that it still has?
That was a pretty good question, actually. Sorry.
Fuck you, bring it.
I'm sorry. As a moderator, I always want to end on a question that takes us into the movie. That was a pretty perfect question to take us into the movie. I'm sorry, I'm also out of breath right now.
So, can I say, it's not for us to answer. I think the question that you asked, you should answer. So what is it about this movie that resonates?
Whoa.
Ooh, this is so wild.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Film it, Dave. Film it.
For me personally, I'm going to say that it
Wait.
was
We're getting the cameras ready, bro. Hang on.
No pressure.
We got the one-armed cameraman right here. All right, yeah, there you go. Zoom in. Okay, there you go. We're ready. And action.
I'm going to say for me personally, it was the theatrical experience. I saw it in the theater when I was 11 years old. And I can remember everything about that night. I remember the way the theater smelled. I remember coming out of it. I remember the walk home because we walked up there, walked back, and it was dark. And every little noise, we're like looking around and everything. And I just think that this film, maybe a lot of us, we fell in love with like going to the cinema after seeing this, I think. And
Wow.
that's what it does for me personally.
That was made. Cut. Print. Moving on. Woohoo! We got a winner.
Good luck following that up. Jesus Christ, that was beautiful. I'm sorry. I'm on their team. What's your question? Take us out.
I can't compete with that, but
Fair enough.
just a question for like all three of y'all. Do y'all need an assistant? I will quit my.
Fair question. I want to say real quick, these weekends are a transactional moment. I want you to know something that you may not have heard it this weekend enough. But the reality is that you're helping people feed their families. That the money you guys earn and as you sit in line for people, it's very valuable for those of us to have to bridge the gap between ebbs and flows. So if you didn't hear it enough this weekend, we're very grateful and we're thankful for you, and thank you for being there, thank you for supporting us, thank you for enjoying this weekend, and I hope you come back next year, whoever's here, because it's super powerful, and you're changing the people's lives that are there, right? So we appreciate it, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. It's also, to add to that just a little bit, it's really inspiring to see you all there. There's something that's very powerful about us all together, and I'm sure you probably saw people there that have inspired you that aren't, actors. That I think as a world we should look to each other for those moments and really embrace each other and thank each other for those. And I think that's what Matt's attempting to do as well. So truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You got me through a lot, and I look to these moments as I battle things coming up this week. I will be reminded of your strengths that I saw over the weekend. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all so much. And Bozo's gonna need assistants and clowns.
You can be
So I
Bozo's
want you all to
assistant.
let your clown out. Let's lighten this world up a little and give yourself a break. Laugh at yourself instead of beating yourself up. That's what I'm trying to do.
I mean, what you all said is exactly why we come to these conventions, exactly why we look for any opportunity to connect as a community, why we come to the shared experience of the movies, which you were talking about. So thanks for being here with us, and this is really special, and this is what horror is all about. The irony is that we're all about to just watch a slasher movie and watch people get brutally murdered for 90 minutes, but this is what it's all about. What a perfect end to Texas Frightmare Weekend 2024. Thank you all. Another round of applause for Matt, Skeet, and David. We're gonna take a picture to kind of memorialize this. Get these guys up really quick and take a picture. Everybody, I know it's late Sunday and you've had a long convention weekend, audience, but if you could go crazy one more time in the background of this photo.
I can literally do that all night. I don't have a good butt, so just hold my
Do you want everybody to stand up behind them? All right, everybody stand up. Look alive. Your lens cap, Grandpa. Shut up, Dick. You hit me with the lens cap, Dick. Yeah, I'll jump in there. All right, another huge Texas and Texas Frightmare Weekend round of applause.